Hello, this is Dan. I'm going to give you a short introduction to Peppermint Linux with this video. I'm going to cover the advantages of Linux over Windows and Macintosh. I'm going to cover the desktop, the icons on the desktop, the bottom panel, which is called the taskbar in Windows, the quick launch area, and the system tray area. I'll also talk about the software that comes free on this version of Linux and how to get new software and how to update your system. So let's begin by talking about the advantages for Linux. The number one advantage for Linux is that it's free. You don't have to pay $149 for Windows 7 or 8 or 10. It is free. And there are many versions of Linux. This happens to be Peppermint9 Linux, 64-bit. It's free to download, free to install, and free to use as much as you want. The second big advantage to Linux is that you don't need to be running antivirus, anti-spyware, anti-malware on your computer to slow it down and have to update it all the time and wait for it to do its thing when you turn the computer on. It's ready to go as soon as it boots up. The third major advantage is that software is very easy to get. So simple. In fact, I'll show you how simple it is. Okay, let's talk about the desktop. We have three icons on the desktop, a home, a trash, and instructions for Peppermint Linux. You can click on any one of them to start that particular item. So if we want to look at the home filing system, you have the desktop, documents, downloads, pictures, just like Windows, only it looks a little bit different. So if I go into the pictures folder, there is another folder called desktop rotation, and there are some pictures in there. If I click on one, an application will open up and show you that picture, and you can page through them. So an application is associated with every type of file, and whatever program that is will open up when you click on it. To close a window in Peppermint Linux, you do the same thing that you do in Windows. You click on the X in the top right-hand corner, and that will close. On the bottom left, we have a menu, just like you do in Windows. When you click on it, you have a search box, so you can type any program in there and it will pop up, or you can look through the categories on the left. If I look at Office, on the right we have LibreOffice, the Office suite that's compatible with Microsoft Office. You've got the Writer, which is word processing. You have the Calc, which is like Excel spreadsheet. And you have Impress, which is like PowerPoint in Microsoft. So it's a full Office suite. But you also have an online Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint, and Word, so that if you have an online Microsoft account, like an Outlook email, for instance, then you can use these. If we look at, say, Internet, we've got the Chrome or Chromium web browser, Firefox web browser, TeamViewer, Skype, and anything else you want with Internet. There's games. Some of these are online and some of these are installed on the computer. I like Foo Billiard. I'm going to go ahead and click on it and show you that you've got a full billiard game that you can play. I'm going to go ahead and close that. Other items on the bottom taskbar are the quick launch area. So if I want to launch Firefox, I click on that. If I want to launch the filing system, I can click on that, closing it. If I want to launch TeamViewer, I click on that. I'm not going to do it, but these are quick launch items. One click and it starts that program. So you want to put things that you use often down here, so you just one click it. You can also put them on the desktop, but after a while that gets crowded. So you want to keep just a minimum amount of icons on the desktop. Over on the right-hand side, we have the system tray. There's the clock, and if I click on it, you get a calendar. There is the Wi-Fi information. So if I click on it, we're connected to this router right now, but you can disconnect from that and connect to any other router on or network if you know the password. This one is for updating your system, and we'll come back to that later. So on the desktop, you have icons that you can click. I'm going to go ahead and click on the Peppermint instructions, and that'll open up LibreOffice word processing. And so here are instructions that I have written for Peppermint Linux. You have a menu for different categories and the programs within those categories, and also a search box. So if I type in VLC, you see that VLC Media Player comes right up. You have quick launch items, and you have a system tray. Okay, what I'm going to cover now is what software comes on the computer. Well, as you can see from the menu, you've got just about everything that you need. If you want to go to the internet, you've got the Chrome browser and the Firefox browser. If you want to look at media files, you've got the VLC Media Player, and you can get many more media players. If you want to do word processing or spreadsheet or office work, you've got office stuff. If you want to change your system, you've got system and settings to change just about anything you want. Okay, so if something isn't on your computer that you want, you can go to the software manager. So I'm going to click on that. And this is very well organized. So if you know what you want, you can just type the program in the search box right up here. If you want to look at, say, office things or sound and video things, or if you want to search on a particular, let's just put in media, MEDIA. And the media type programs will come up. There's VLC, and you can see the green check mark means it's already installed. But if you want the band sheet, playback, or Amarok media player, or Totem media player, Caffeine, there's many, many of them in Linux, and you just click on it. I'm going to put in Paint for a Paint program and go ahead and install one. Okay, we have Penta already installed, but I'm going to get My Paint, and I'm going to click on My Paint, and it'll tell you that it's a painting program, and it gives you a little bit of information. You can look and see what other people thought about it to see if you want to install it or not. And if you do want to install it, you just click Install. And it's going to tell me that I need a few more packages in Linux to make this program work. So I'll just click Continue. You put in your password. Anytime you change your system in Linux, it'll ask you for the password. That's one reason why it's so much more secure than either Windows or even Macintosh. So it's installing it now. And it's already done. So we can launch the program from here, and there's My Paint program already installed and working. Or I can go to the menu and click Graphics, and My Paint should be there, and there it is. There's the Penta that we saw earlier. Okay, that's how easy it is to get new programs in Linux. If you don't want it anymore, you can put My Paint in there and click Remove, and it will uninstall it for you. Okay, how do you update your system in Linux? Well, this Linux makes it extremely easy. There's an icon right down here in the system tray that says I've got 46 recommended updates. If it's check mark, it means your system is up to date. But if it has this little blue question mark in it, then you've got updates. You put your cursor on it, it'll tell you. If you click on it, it'll tell you what those updates are. and you can go through and see if you want them or not. If you don't want them, you can uncheck it, but they're going to be checked by default. And the best thing to do is just to accept all of the updates that it says you have. To install it, you just click Install Updates and put in your password, and it will do it. I'm not going to do that right now. It may take several minutes, and I don't want to go through that on this video. But that's how easy it is to update your system in Peppermint Linux. Another major advantage to Peppermint Linux is that they have an excellent online help section, tutorial section. So I'm going to go to Internet, and there's Online User Guide. I'll click that, and your Firefox browser will open up, and you can see how to download and install Linux, an introduction to the desktop, customizing the desktop, many things that we've talked about in this video. It's just absolutely amazing. So if I want to click on, say, Chapter 4, there's the software manager that we saw before, how to make it work. So that's the other major advantage to Peppermint Linux. All right, that is a good introduction to Peppermint Linux. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I hope you have a wonderful day.